secret shopping.
Welcome to Self-Storage Income. We're here doing secret shopping of self-storage facilities to understand demand and whether a project is a go or a no-go.
Cleaning everything, my assistant.
I'm here with Connor and Brian from my team that head up the development and our acquisition side. So development includes capital expenditures, any building, anything that we would need to do on that end. Acquisitions is the front end of our team that heads up identifying projects and validating whether or not they will be good or we should pass. So Connor, who heads up development, and Brian, who heads up acquisitions, they're going secret shopping. So we're going to talk to them about under acquisitions, what they're looking for, and Connor, a little more about secret shopping overall.
All right, guys, so right now we're on site at a very popular storage facility, as you might be able to tell, and doing some secret shopping. This is really close to one of our other facilities, and as you guys might be able to see, we've actually got another facility across the street here, and this is going to make for a great understanding of what the demand is in this market, what the needs are, what units are available, what units aren't available in regards to our potential conversion project, and what units in demand we need to build into that. I know AJ's always talking about on the podcast and in these videos, talking about product market fit, and that's a huge aspect of whenever you're building ground up or doing a conversion, such as this potential conversion we're looking at down the street here. You got to build out that perfect product market fit to make sure that you're providing the units that actually are in demand in that market. Because it might look good on a spreadsheet to say, hey, all these 5x5s are needed, all these 10x10s are needed, and that might look great on a pro forma, but at the end of the day, if they're not getting leased out, you're not going to be able to generate that revenue. It's not going to end up panning out. So this is just one of the first ones that we're doing here. We're going to go through and we'll do a number of facilities and make sure that we're just hitting not only the big facilities and big operators, but if we can, hitting some of those mom and pops as well, and just getting a good idea for the whole entire market as a whole.
Speaking of which, right now we're going to go run over to secret shop them to try to understand what units they have available, what ones are occupied, and see what we can find out.
You just work here yourself, or do you have support? Is there like a lot of maintenance that you guys do on these things? You always hear about how people love investing in storage because there's nothing to do or whatever, but okay, no, that totally makes sense.
So you could tell, we'd ask him and he'd say, well, we've got, and I got, and he was avoiding the question. And he wasn't giving you a straightforward answer. So, are you really full? Well, we've got some.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, was that 2? Was that 3? Is that 15? Doesn't want to tell you. You don't want 100% occupancy, because if you have 100% occupancy, first of all, it means your rates are too low. You're so low that everybody's coming to you. And then second of all, you don't have turnover, and turnover in storage makes us money because I'm replacing a cheap rent with a higher rent. So let's say that I have 90% full. That last 10%, we're going to charge as high as we can get. So when the 90% rolls over, they're being replaced at a much higher rate. And that changes too on a per unit basis. So every door, every size, the location of the door, how close is it to an exit? Is it climate controlled? Is it not? So the storage with all the different product types, your occupancy should be changing constantly month to month.
So we're out here looking at a potential acquisition. It's actually a conversion project. So we're out secret shopping the competition, analyzing all the competitors, and trying to get an understanding of market demand and supply. So we're out here going and talking to these managers and owners and asking them questions to really get an understanding of what units are available, what unit types, what unit sizes, what units are in high demand, what do they have long wait lists on, what do they get calls most frequently on. So the facility I was just in, talking to the manager, just looking for, started out with a 10x20. Hey, do you have any 10x20s available? Nope, we're completely sold out of that. So the next question was, okay, do you have anything larger? No, we're completely sold out. Those very rarely come up. All right, what do you have available? Do you have smaller sizes? They had a couple 5x10s, so I asked them how many they had available, if we could piecemeal a couple of them. together to get more space that we needed. So really just being interested, asking a bunch of follow-up questions, and trying to pull as much information so that we can get a good understanding of that facility's occupancy levels and what units are in most demand.
All right, so we've been secret shopping. Connor just got out of this location. Connor, what did they say?
So at this facility, they have some pretty good availability as far as their 10 by 15 sized units. And that tells us something really important about what this area is requiring as far as their demand and that product market fit like we were talking about. The fact that they had a couple 10 by 15s right next to each other is a big deal, because generally you're not going to find something like that. If they have availability, those units, it might be one unit here or whatever that is, but to have such a supply of that unit type that you have availability right next to each other is pretty telling for sure. So in using that information, we can then go and we can provide that to our architects. We can talk through design-wise and figure out what unit sizes and types are actually going to be the best to build and utilize for this potential conversion.
All right. Brian, he did secret shopping as well. He went and talked to another facility right next to this facility. So what did you see from that one?
Yeah, the facility next door really kind of confirmed what Connor just saw across the street, which is a good sign. That means that we can feel confident in the analysis there. But similar type story, larger units here, over 10 by 15, have been tough to find. They called their other locations in and around the entire region to see what they had available, which kept with a similar story. So that's all good insight. And really, what we're trying to do at the same time is understand, okay, what's the target customer and what's that renter profile look like? So what are they storing? What size units, climate controlled, non-climate controlled, like what factors matter most? And that way, like Connor said, we can get with our team and say, all right, we're gonna maximize this facility, not on a spreadsheet or a pro forma basis, but actually fit the product types to the market and what's gonna perform best in our opinion. So
as we go through and talk to facilities all around the area, we're taking notes, we're looking at units, we're looking at pricing, we're looking at what units have vacancy. It starts to paint that picture together that we can confirm with our numbers and research online. But the on-the-ground research tells us things that you just can't find online. That's why secret shopping is so important. So as we both found right there, with both of the facilities we talked to, similar quality, 10 by 15s were available at each. In fact, the managers were pushing the 10 by 15s to sell. Immediately that tells us that 10 by 15s are over probably supplied within this market, and there's little demand for 10 by 15s. As we continue, we'll try to understand why and if that's different in any other locations around this area. If you want to know more about due diligence and our checklist and what we go through when we're looking at a new acquisition, check out this video here and we do a full walkthrough.